Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today we are going to start chapter 702 of Magic Emperor. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. Yilin sighed. Why must they go so far? Zhuo Yifan is my opponent. Why are they in such a rush to stake their lives? Wu Qingxiu sighed, his face solemn and filled with respect for Sword God Sect's disciples. Knowing full well there's no chance they have no remorse in giving their very being in defeating their adversary. This is a warrior's honor and life pursuit. These 10 people are worthy of our respect. Yilin and Yin Mo looked at Wu Qingxiu and nodded. Zhuo Yifan, if you can't block our attack, you must dodge. We won't attack again, but that will mean your defeat. Don't be stubborn and risk your life for nothing. Xie Tianshan made a sign and shouted at Zhuo Yifan. Zhuo Yifan started, looking at them oddly so confident. When Tao saw that he was skeptical, so he mediated, Brother Zhuo, junior brother Xie isn't joking. You'll know in a moment. Our strike will hit you right where it hurts the most. When Tao made his own sign and shouted, Harmony of Soul Sword, gather. The other 9 people echoed him in shouting and gestures. The 10 swords in the heavens above gathered, and a strange, gentle power ebbed from their center. Like a simple string, it linked all the sword souls together. When Tao shouted again, and a dazzling white light brightened the skies. It was so intense the sun itself paled. Once the light passed, the people cried in shock. 9 swords were gone from the sky, leaving just one. But this sword's soul released an incredible power with every motion. The slightest movement shook space enough to rip it. That's a soul harmony? Exalted by Mei spoke. Everyone's soul is different and mutually exclusive. But there are arts in this world, soul harmonies, that can unify them. It's rare enough to see 3 souls join together, but Sword God Sect managed to do it with 10? This is like a miracle. Exalted Heiran nodded as well, equally amazed. Sword God Sect has the sword at its core, with everything related to it. All of their disciples form a sword soul as well. To them, it will be much easier to practice soul harmony. But this is just too overwhelming for it to happen with 10 in one moment. I believe the core of it is gentle sword, that one Tao. Soft and hard. Hard enough to break the heavens and soft enough to absolve anyone. He is the tie that binds them. This is how such a remarkable art like soul harmony came to be. Exalted by Mei squinted and nodded. Sister Qiqing, what now? How could any one man take on such a powerful soul? On Mystical Heaven Sect's side, Danner was filled with worry and restlessness as she pulled on Chu Qingqing's clothes. She was more worried than anyone about Zhuo Yifan's predicament. The girls only ever looked at Chu Qingqing in worry. They all knew she knew Zhuo Yifan the most. She would know in her heart if Zhuo Yifan could come out alive. However, she was also somewhat alarmed since she didn't know a thing about Zhuo Yifan's trump cards. However, from what she saw of Zhuo Yifan's cool expression, her heart regained calm, and she smiled. He's going to be fine. Brother Zhuo, are you really not going to step away? Seeing Zhuo facing this new sword soul's power unflinching and undeterred, when Tao felt like he had to warn him again. However, Zhuo Yifan merely smiled and shook his head. If I move, won't that mean I admit defeat? Since you, Brother Wen, have pushed on despite the obvious outcome, wouldn't I be a coward if I acted otherwise? A true man, I see. This fight, regardless of the outcome, I'll remember it. And I'll remember you. With a shout, when Tao's hand sign changed, and the huge sharp sword soul went right for Zhuo Yifan. The pressure increased manifold in an instant. If before, its drift downward only gave a heavy presence, this time, it was more like a hammer bashing into you until you were mush. Not even the ever-dauntless Zhuo Yifan could remain unfazed under it, stalling his breath. Zhuo Yifan had his own calculation of how strong this attack might be, but that did not mean he had to be careless, making signs himself now. Just as it was about to slam into him, everyone watched with bated breaths, watching as a startling draconic roar came from within his body. Prismatic light drenched his surroundings as the mighty sword soul trembled and stopped. Sword God Sect's 10 disciples shivered, watching with incredulous eyes. Why would their invincible soul soar up and stall in midair? It was like something was holding it back. The moment they saw what it was, their hearts cried out in shock as they gasped at the impossible sight. Their awe-inspiring sword soul was in a sharp dragon claw, covered in prismatic light. Behind that claw was a 100 meters long dragon, circling Zhuo Yifan and keeping him safe. The piercing and overbearing dragon eyes made all, even the audience, shudder inside, making them jump to their feet. It was as if they were nothing but ants under those dragon eyes. This naked disregard was felt to their core. That's, Wu Qingxiu cried out. Across all the western lands, There are only the two exalted that managed to form such a soul. Yin Mo was just as shocked. Now I see why just half revealing his soul last time would display so much power. I see. So that's why you didn't fear their united sword soul. So you formed the heaven dragon soul as well? Yilin chuckled as he watched the mighty presence on the screen. That's for the best. It's the least my fated rival should have. Wait, back up. Won't that make you the one my master told me about that stole the dragon power from the dragon tomb? Ha ha ha. Wu Qingxiu jerked at his words. Junior brother, what do you mean by dragon tomb? Oh, nothing. I'm just saying this guy is worthy of being my adversary, just by his courage alone. Ha ha ha. Yilin chuckled. Wu Qingxiu muttered in doubt. Junior brother, I know you're amazing, but there are some things I don't understand. Now that he took out the heaven dragon soul, yet you're still saying he is the perfect adversary for you. Does that mean you have a soul to match his? That is a secret, he he he. You'll know soon enough. Yilin had a mysterious smile. This is the only way for them to release all they have. Only by fighting to the end. Yilin sighed. That's it for today's chapter recap. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. About thoughts on today's chapter? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on the story. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.